Discover a world of magic and wonder, where you can imagine all sorts of new adventures and endless possibilities, where you can find what you need for everything, from late-night soothing snuggles to meeting a new best friend. Come to Fisher-Price. There's always fun in store.
Cue it up.
How do you cue it up? No matter how you cue it up, do it up with Mighty Taco's new grill-pressed quesadilla-style burrito. Say cheese, as the Mighty Q is a vegetarian option. Or go with big fajita-style chicken or steak. The Mighty Q is perfect for dipping, so add your favorite nacho cheese, sour cream, guacamole, or salsa. The Mighty Q is here, and only at
Mighty Taco.
Action Figure Portal in Depew has all your favorite new figures, as well as classics and even a classic collectibles room and comic books. From DC to Marvel to popular television, video game, and web characters, Action Figure Portal has them all in store with prices that beat the internet. If nostalgia is your passion and classic movies, old-fashioned candy, toys, and collectibles are your thing, the Mother's Movies and Remember When Toys and Collectibles on Center Street in Lewiston will have you singing its praises. You'll find the best prices and selection on all the things you love, and you're sure to discover something new every time you visit.
So I've got the clay right in the middle. The first step is going to be to make the little cup that holds the candle. So I go right to the middle, and I'm going to draw that shape up out of the solid shape of clay. I'm also doing a lot of decorating right now. I'm getting ready to fire the big kiln at the end of the month, and it holds about 300 pots at a time.
Wow.
So it's taken me several months to shape 300 pieces, and before they go in I draw the designs on with a special material called cobalt. Cobalt starts out gray, but the extreme heat of the kiln turns it to blue. So that's what I'll be working on for the next couple weeks before I load the pots up into the kiln. But the heat of the kiln is what changes the clay, makes it nice and hard. It's also going to make it shiny because of something I put on called glaze, which is a lot like glass. So in the heat of the kiln, the glaze will melt and you get a nice smooth glassy finish, and you can see that on the finished candle holder there as well. I'm going to make a little dish out here in case your candle is drippy. You want to catch the drips. And the little handle, like on the finished one, is a separate piece of clay, and I will attach that tomorrow after it dries a little bit overnight. It's quite soft at this stage, so usually you have to wait a half a day or so before you can attach the handle so you don't ruin the shape of the form.
That's fascinating how quick you did that.
So in your kitchen you had pottery to store your food in, pottery to cook with, and then at your table when you sat down to eat, your plates and bowls and cups had all come from the pottery as well. So being a potter was a very common occupation because everybody had pots. There just wasn't anything else to use.
And the clay material, locally sourced, obviously.
Well, this gray clay actually was mined in New Jersey, and with the opening of the Erie Canal in the 1820s, that gave them access to this raw material. The local clay is red, used commonly to make bricks, but it was also shaped on the potter's wheel, and it makes the red pots that you see on the shelves up there. So both types were very commonly made, and I do both. And the last step for right now is to put a string underneath it. And that cuts it free, so then tomorrow when it's dry enough I'll be able to pick it up off the board without ruining its shape. But for now I'm just going to take the whole board off the potter's wheel and let it sit over here on the table out of the way. And then for the next one, I'll put another board on and just continue on.
That was awesome.
Welcome to On the Air. I'm Susie Pancakes. Today, I'm speaking with E.G. Socrates, world-class sockologist. E.G., tell us, what happens to the socks that get lost in the laundry?
I think what happens is, well, I know that whenever I'm in my house, I always hear some weird sort of sounds. So I'm thinking if a sock just disappears in the washing machine or a dryer machine, I think there's eerie, creepy monsters living in my basement. I think they just grab the socks and wear them. Maybe they have one leg and one foot and they only need one sock. That is my prediction on what I think, on where I think my sock goes.
That's an interesting theory. But I wonder if the centrifugal force of the washing machine creates a space-time portal where the socks go through the portal.
Mysteriously pulled from their much-loved daily routine of keeping feet warm and dry, these socks have lost their other halves and are now hurtling quickly through time and space and are somehow helplessly being pulled towards another dimension of utter nothingness, a dimension that they can neither understand or comprehend, a dimension where all lost things go and where there's nothing to do day after day after day but lament their other halves and their happy, useful lives they once led. What will happen to these socks? Where will they end up? Find out next time on Land of the Lost Socks. Buffalo became a true boom town when the Erie Canal opened up the latest and greatest trade route to the west on October 26, 1825. All this newly acquired wealth inspired many businessmen to commission some of the best architects and designers in the world to build large mansions and estates. Many of these homes were built along Delaware Avenue. So many, in fact, that it didn't take long for the street to become known as Millionaires' Row. A good many of these buildings still exist today and are a living monument from a truly golden age in the city's long and complex history. With 4 waterfalls and fertile ground close at hand, Rochester was once an ideal location for flour milling. For a while, the best location in town for mills was debated, but ultimately there were many mills built in Old Rochesterville. With the completion of the Erie Canal, it became much easier for flour shipments to be sent down to New York or over to Albany. For a decade or so, Rochester was a leading flour-producing city in the entire world. Did you know that Rochester, New York used to have a subway? It was around 10 miles long and was built on the bed of the old Erie Canal. The subway opened its doors to the public in December of 1927, and the last passenger run was Saturday, June 30th, 1956. The system's heyday was during World War II when 4-car trains ran at the height of rush hour. But after the war, ridership decreased as most of the population was headed out to the suburbs and were becoming increasingly dependent upon their cars instead of public transportation. Today, only a few traces of the subway remain, and there has been debate over whether to fill it in or not.
Discover a world of magic and wonder, where you can imagine all sorts of new adventures and endless possibilities, where you can find what you need for everything, from late-night soothing snuggles to meeting a new best friend. Come to Fisher-Price. There's always fun in store.
Cue it up.
How do you cue it up? No matter how you cue it up, do it up with Mighty Taco's new grill-pressed quesadilla-style burrito. Say cheese, as the Mighty Q is a vegetarian option. Or go with big fajita-style chicken or steak. The Mighty Q is perfect for dipping, so add your favorite nacho cheese, sour cream, guacamole, or salsa. The Mighty Q is here and only at
Mighty Taco.
Action Figure Portal in Depew has all your favorite new figures, as well as classics and even a classic collectibles room and comic books. From DC to Marvel to popular television, video game, and web characters, Action Figure Portal has them all in store with prices that beat the internet. If nostalgia is your passion and classic movies, old-fashioned candy, toys, and collectibles are your thing, the Mother's Movies and Remember When Toys and Collectibles on Center Street in Lewiston will have you singing its praises. You'll find the best prices and selection on all the things you love, and you're sure to discover something new every time you visit.
What tall tale should we tell today, Rock?
There's still a lot of snow on the ground, B. Why don't we tell the story about what always happens with your boots?
That's your fault, Rock. You're the one who makes me wear bread bags on my feet.
They keep your feet dry, B.
They're slippery, Rock.
They're warm.
Slippery.
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 Warm.
Have I ever told you about the time B lost one bread bag boot too many? What's a bread bag boot, you ask? Well, take a pair of boots, line them with leftover bread bags to keep your feet warm and dry, and there you go. You got your bread bag boots.
Hey kids, this week I got in a bit of trouble with Rochester. It wasn't really my fault, and he just wouldn't listen when I tried to tell him what happened. You see, Rock bought me some new boots for the winter, but they just wouldn't keep my feet warm and dry, so in his infinite wisdom, Rock came up with the idea that I could wear bags on my feet. Bread bags. I mean, really, who does that? Rock? Aw, come on, this isn't gonna work. This feels weird. They're gonna fall off as soon as I step in the snow. They're too slippery.
There you go, B. Good as new. Good as new. You'll be fine. Just be careful.
Why do I have to have these stupid boots on in the first place? No one does this.
B, we don't have money for good boots. You know that. These will be fine. Just be careful and make sure the bags stay up.
How, Rock? How? Come on, Rock. Rubber bands? Great. Who's the kid with the rubber bands on his bread bag legs? Me. That's who. You're gonna cut off the circulation to my legs with those.
Quiet, B. I did the best I could, and these boots are all I can afford. Just be happy that you have a new pair of boots. When I was a kid, all I had were plastic bread bags with no boots. And if you wouldn't keep losing your boots, I might be able to buy you a better pair. But you keep losing them. We're almost in spring, and there's only a few more weeks left.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I know. And you were even lucky to have plastic bags on your feet.
In spite of his resistance to the idea, B left the house in his bread bag boots. B's a real worrywart sometimes, and he just couldn't seem to enjoy himself out in the woods that afternoon. It's fair to say he had a lot on his already overactive mind.
Rock always has to remind me we have no money, and he's doing the best he can. Look, I don't have it hard. I can't even go to Blue's house to play. He'll just make fun of me with my cheap boots, bread bags, and rubber bands holding the whole thing up. me. Now what am I gonna do? This is the third pair this winter.
So B headed back home. He was angry and frustrated and mad at himself for letting himself have a good time after all. While most of B's boots get lost for good, this time he thought he might be able to get this one back, but only if Rock wasn't home.
Rock? Rock? You home? Whew!
Now, if you thought climbing a tree was tough using your hands and feet, try climbing a tree with 4 hooves. But B is anything if not determined, and soon found himself far out on a high bough, positioning himself directly over his boot.
Rock's gonna kill me if I don't get this boot back. Come on. Got it.
As B headed home with his boot in his net, he was thinking about how happy he was to have been able to retrieve his missing boot. But what would B do with it when he got home? It already smelled pretty bad from the pond.
Oh, what is that smell? I think I'm gonna be sick. It smells like dead fish in here. B, get in here.
Rock was pretty upset with B for hiding the boot, and almost as upset that the smell stunk up the entire house. But Rock gets loud when he gets mad, and B doesn't like it. Remember, just because someone's louder than you doesn't make them right.
Those stupid bags never work, and my boots always fall off. And Rock just won't seem to listen to me when I tell him it doesn't work. I didn't want to listen to it. I still think I was right. Oh well, it's just another thing that we're not going to agree on. He's a good guy and he means well, but I think he sometimes needs to listen to what I have to say more, you know?
I told you already, go to bed.
All right, I'll go.
B, get the slate.
All right, I'm going. Jeez.
Discover a world of magic and wonder, where you can imagine all sorts of new adventures and endless possibilities, where you can find what you need for everything, from late-night soothing snuggles to meeting a new best friend. Come to Fisher-Price. There's always fun in store.
Cue it up.
How do you cue it up? No matter how you cue it up, do it up with Mighty Taco's new grill-pressed quesadilla-style burrito. Say cheese, as the Mighty Q is a vegetarian option. Or go with big fajita-style chicken or steak. The Mighty Q is perfect for dipping, so add your favorite nacho cheese, sour cream, guacamole, or salsa. The Mighty Q is here, and only at
Mighty Taco.
Sequoia, why do you think human beings believe in creatures such as unicorns, leprechauns, and fairies?
I don't know.
Why do they feel the need to live in a world of fantasy? I know their understanding of the universe
universe is still in its infancy, but can't they see that in order to progress as a species, they're going to have to learn that such things just simply do not exist?
Yeah, they'll believe anything.
Beautiful night, isn't it?
Yep.
Hi, we're here today in Hamburg at Clyde's Feed and Animal Center. We're here today with Dave Howes. He's a collector of everything Dr. Seuss. As you can see behind me on the sleigh directly from the movie that he has collected along with many other pieces. Dave's inside and we'll be talking to him in just a second about what he loves about Dr. Seuss and how he got the sleigh here today. Hi Dave, can you tell me how you got the sleigh? How did you get your hands on it?
Well, let's see. Let's go back to 2003 for just a quick minute. In 2003, I started collecting, I started looking for Grinch props because I knew the movie was over with.
Right.
Didn't really expect to find anything because back in the day, they didn't really do that.
Right.
Ironically, the Grinch movie was the first movie costumes and props were sold to the general public because it was the largest production Universal Studios had ever done. They were actually probably overwhelmed because they had so much stuff they didn't know what to do with it, so they basically said sell it. I got to be, after buying a few bigger props on eBay from a very wonderful gentleman, Roger Stylen, who owned Take-Two Props. He also worked for Universal Studios doing prop setup. We had a mutual friendship, and we also had mutual love of the Grinch movie, and he offered me the one sleigh. And he offered me several other pieces, and I said, Roger, wonderful, I'll take it in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very fortunately, it took 3 years till the deal actually happened and he got him up here. Once he came up with it, it became kind of like tradition after that to try to have the sleigh out wherever I can have it out.
Did it come up here on a tractor trailer?
He actually brought it up on a car hauler, and he brought it up, and I didn't know the sleigh was coming. I knew other pieces were coming, but I did not know the sleigh was coming. So when the sleigh got here, I was absolutely overwhelmed, and I was thrilled and all excited and panicked all at the same time, to be honest with you. So it was one of those things that I just really, truly wanted, but never knew it was going to happen. Roger and I have stayed friends. He knows I call him every Christmas to make sure that he knows, because I promised him I would take care of it. I promised him it would be outshown so people would see it, and that was one of the conditions actually with buying it. And I try to have it out at least, I try for at least about 2 or 3 times a season to have it out on the weekend, so it's up all day long so people get a chance to see it.
As a little boy, did you ever think you'd own the sleigh?
Never, absolutely never. Never, ever, ever. I didn't think there would be any chance. But again, at the time, movie props weren't sold to the general public. So this happening, it was just kind of like, it's like a kid in a candy store is the only way to explain it.
How many pieces of the actual collection do you have?
That's one thing I've honestly never counted. I probably have about 30 costumes, and I probably have close to 70 to 100 different props in the movie. Some of them, everything as small as, like you see the bow here, or things as large as the sleigh, and everything in between. I have the Who Baby Pumbersilla. I have the big Jubilation drum that you see in the middle of town. I have the last surviving piece of the Grinch's furnace. As you can see right here, this is the mayor's chair from his bedroom. I also have the mayor's bed, old bed set up, and including all the bedding. I could set up scenes for probably the next 6 or 7 years and never repeat the scenes over and over again because I have so many pieces.
Yeah, well, you bringing the sleigh into these small towns really brings a lot of joy to the little kids that come here because they just are probably blown away.
You can't pay for things like that. It's really so much fun just to have it out for people to see. And the biggest question I'll get every single time is, how long did it take you to make this? People don't realize that it's the actual sleigh, because who would think that, right in East Aurora here, or right in Hamburg today, that it would be the actual sleigh right from Hollywood.
Absolutely.
But it is.
Well,
and I'm proud to own it, and it's a pleasure to share it with people.
Yeah, you bring a lot of joy to the town, so thanks so much for doing that.
It's always my pleasure. I love doing it. I will do it as long as I possibly can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dave. You have a great Christmas.
You do the same. Merry Christmas.
Discover a world of magic and wonder where you can imagine all sorts of new adventures and endless possibilities, where you can find what you need for everything, from late-night soothing snuggles to meeting a new best friend. Come to Fisher-Price. There's always fun in store.
Cue it up. How do you cue it up? No matter how you cue it up, do it up with Mighty Taco's new grill-pressed quesadilla-style burrito. Say cheese, as the Mighty Q is a vegetarian option. Or go with big fajita-style chicken or steak. The Mighty Q is perfect for dipping, so add your favorite nacho cheese, sour cream, guacamole, or salsa. The Mighty Q is here and only at
Mighty Taco.
Action Figure Portal in Depew has all your favorite new figures, as well as classics and even a classic collectibles room and comic books. From DC to Marvel to popular television, video game, and web characters, Action Figure Portal has them all in store with prices that beat the internet. If nostalgia is your passion and classic movies, old-fashioned candy, toys, and collectibles are your thing, the Mother's Movies and Remember When Toys and Collectibles on Center Street in Lewiston will have you singing its praises. You'll find the best prices and selection on all the things you love, and you're sure to discover something new every time you visit.